Long before the shaping of mountains and rivers, before the oceans filled the lands and the stars burned in the sky, there was the music of the Anor. Not a song of melody, but a weaving of reality itself, threads of thought and purpose brought into existence by beings beyond time and space. Each note, each harmony was a law of Arda before Arda existed. Melkor, the mightiest of the Ainur, introduced themes of discord, not out of whim, but out of desire for dominion and self-expression. He sought to assert his own vision over Eru Ilúvatar's plan. The music was not a passive creation. It was a dialogue between inevitability and choice, between the structure of existence and the impulses of power. Morgoth's discord was woven into the symphony, and yet it did not break it. It reshaped it. It introduced tension, a shadow that would run through every age of Middle-earth. The first key truth is often overlooked. Evil was not an anomaly. It was a force integral to the cosmos, unavoidable in a world where free will exists. The shaping of Arda was therefore not simply the building of a physical world. It was the establishment of a moral framework, a stage where desire, defiance, and corruption could manifest and be tested. The stars, the oceans, the mountains, they are all notes in the symphony of reality. Melkor's rebellion echoes across history, not because he is present, but because his influence shaped causality itself. Through the music, Ilúvatar allowed for choice. The Ainur descended into Arda, not as rulers, but as stewards of potential. But even the greatest of them could not undo the shadow that Melkor had planted. This shadow is the root of everything seen in later ages: the corruption of elves, the defilement of lands, the twisting of desire into greed and cruelty. Even before the first battle, before the creation of the dwarves or the awakening of men, Arda was a contested space. Melkor sought to dominate not only through brute force, but through shaping the very possibility of choice. The great wars recorded in the Silmarillion are symptoms, echoes of that initial discord. A question for every fan to consider. Pause for a moment and reflect. Was the music a tragedy from the start, or was it only tragic because we perceive it from within time? Drop your answer in the comments and keep listening, because what follows is the shaping of Arda itself and the ways in which Morgoth's corruption made every mountain, river, and star a stage for his influence. Morgoth's rebellion did not end with the music. When the Ainur entered Arda, he claimed dominion over its lands, warping the mountains, rivers, and skies to reflect his vision. The lands themselves bear his touch: the darkening of Beleriand, the scarring of Angband, the poisoned lakes, the twisted forests. Corruption was not a metaphor. It was a physical force, an imprint of a consciousness at war with reality. Every battle against Morgoth was therefore more than a contest of armies. It was a struggle against a principle, the active force of rebellion against the order of existence. Even the creatures he shaped were extensions of his will. Dragons were not simply monsters. They were embodiments of fear and desire, instruments for bending the world to his intent. Orcs were not born naturally. They were the perversion of life, a shadow cast on the image of elves and men. The Silmarils became focal points, not just of beauty, but of consequence, containing light untainted by corruption, yet drawing the destructive obsession of all beings. Morgoth's influence reaches into the hearts of those who would oppose him. Elves, dwarves, men, none are free from his shadow. Their decisions, their alliances, their triumphs and failures are shaped by the unseen tug of his presence. Even in the First Age, victories against him are incomplete, because his essence has woven itself into the very fabric of Arda. The war against Morgoth is therefore more than historical events. It is an ongoing metaphysical conflict between freedom and imposed order. His defeat in Angband is not the end, but a pause. Corruption lingers in the lands, in the hearts of beings, and in the design of Arda itself. The lesson is clear. The greatest threat to Middle-earth is not a single tyrant, but the persistent shadow of rebellion against the principles of existence. Consider this. When you read of great wars, of heroes and monsters, are you witnessing their choices, or are you witnessing the echoes of Morgoth's original discord shaping every action? Comment your thoughts, because understanding the nature of this shadow is the key to grasping the true scale of the story Tolkien created and what it means for every age that follows. The Maiar are often overlooked, treated as minor spirits or secondary players, yet they are the threads that connect the cosmic design of Arda to its unfolding history. They are not merely servants of the Valar. They are extensions of the very principles that shaped the world, capable of altering the course of ages through subtle influence or direct intervention. Sauron is remembered as the great villain of the Second and Third Ages, but he was never independent of Morgoth. His power is frightening, not because it is unique, but because it channels the same rebellion that once threatened the music itself. The Balrogs, the fire demons of Angband, embody the raw force of corruption. They are concentrated violence, instruments of Melkor's will, given shape and sentience. Gandalf and the other Istari, though appearing as guides and mentors, carry authority granted to them to balance and restrain these forces. Their presence is not coincidental. It is a deliberate alignment of cosmic stewardship against the lingering shadow. Even Saruman, whose corruption becomes evident, illustrates the fragility of this balance. The Maiar are not immune to desire or fear, and their choices ripple across the history of Middle-earth. Consider the battles in Beleriand, the conflicts in Numenor, and the rise and fall of kingdoms in the Third Age. The Maiar act as both catalysts and governors, shaping outcomes beyond the comprehension of mortal minds. Their power is subtle, often invisible, yet decisive. It is a reminder that Middle-earth is not a stage of mortal triumph alone, but a theater where immortal will and mortal action collide. Pause for a moment and reflect. When you read of Gandalf, Sauron, or even the Balrogs, are you witnessing beings with independent intent? Or are you witnessing agents of principles that predate the shaping of Arda itself? Drop your answer in the comments, because understanding the Maiar is essential to seeing Middle-earth, not merely as a story of good versus evil, but as a complex interplay of eternal forces and mortal choices. Sauron is often portrayed as the ultimate enemy of Middle-earth, yet the truth is far more complex. He is dangerous because he inherited the shadow of Morgoth, but he is not the origin of the threat. The true danger lies in the corruption that predates him, in forces that operate through desire, fear, and the malleability of hearts. Dragons, Balrogs, lingering Morgothian influences, and the entropy embedded in the lands themselves are not agents of Sauron. They are reminders that the world itself is shaped by the original discord of the music. The One Ring, while central to the Third Age, is not the core of peril. It is a symptom. The real danger is systemic. The imbalance between mortal will, immortal influence, and the persistent shadow that has seeped into every corner of Arda. The elves, men, dwarves, and even the lands themselves are participating in a conflict whose rules were written long before they awoke. Even the most heroic victories carry unseen consequences. Forests poisoned, realms broken, and hearts twisted. And yet, these hidden threats are subtle enough that they can be overlooked, disguised as chance or misfortune. Consider the forests of Doriath, the wastelands of Angband, the slow decay of Numenor, and the subtle manipulation of men and kings. Each is a trace of the original corruption at work, independent of Sauron's direct hand. At this point, take a moment to reflect. If Sauron had never risen, would Middle-earth have been safe? Or would another shadow have emerged from the original discord? Comment your thoughts, because this is the point where superfans begin to see that the War of the Ring is only a chapter in a much older, ongoing struggle. Understanding these hidden threats reframes every tale of heroism, defeat, and survival in Middle-earth. The story of Middle-earth does not end with the defeat of Sauron or the destruction of the One Ring. It continues in the choices of elves, men, dwarves, and even in the shaping of the lands themselves. The consequences of Morgoth's corruption, the subtle influence of the Maiar, and the lingering entropy of Arda remain present, quietly guiding events long after the Third Age. The elves withdraw, carrying the memory of beauty and loss, preserving knowledge and sorrow in hidden realms. Men rise to dominance, inheriting a world already shaped by forces they cannot fully comprehend, their kingdoms marked by ambition, greed, and hope. Dwarves endure, steadfast, yet their isolation cannot shield them from the echoes of ancient discord. Even in the absence of Sauron, the original imbalance remains. The shadow that began with Morgoth and the music of the Anor is still woven into the fabric of the world. The One Ring is gone, but the principles it embodied, the temptation to dominate, to corrupt, to bend others to will, persist in every heart and every land touched by history. The lesson is stark. Middle-earth is not a story of a single evil overcome, but a study of how creation itself can carry imperfection, how free will interacts with cosmic influence, and how heroes are defined not by the absence of threats, but by their choices within an irredeemably complex system. And so the real question remains, is the world of Arda ever free from the shadows of its origins, or are its inhabitants forever bound to play out echoes of the music of the Anor? Reflect on this and share your thoughts in the comments, because understanding Middle-earth at this level transforms it from a tale of good versus evil into a living, breathing cosmos where every decision, every battle, and every loss is part of an eternal, unfolding struggle. The story continues in every heart that reads it, in every mind that ponders it, and in every age yet to come.